Hello everyone, I am so excited to be with you today and share with you the demonstration of the makeup. We've been talking about it, you've learned about it being this innovative way to do highlighting and contouring in a simplified way. This is a compact that I am going to be sharing with you, and I'll just show you each layer here. I've got a couple of highlight colors. I will be recommending 2 highlight colors, and as I do the demonstration, you'll see exactly why I recommend that. So there will be a main color that matches your skin tone, a brightening color, and then you can see the contour here. If you look at the shadows on my face, they're actually quite cool toned, and so the contours are a little bit cooler toned because their job is to create shadows on your face. Here is a bronzer that's going to give me a little kiss of sun, and that's the first level. The second level, I have a couple of options for lip and cheek colors. I have an illuminator. That's what the rest of the makeup world calls a highlighter, and that's just going to give you that dewy, glowy look. And then I just filled the rest of my compact with a couple of eyeshadows, one for filling my brows and then another for just adding a little bit of dimension to my lids. And I'm going to show you all of these colors right now. I'm also going to be using 2 main brushes. This one is called the Blush Plus Bronzer brush, or the B² brush. It's a little easier to say. And the Detail HAC brush, which I absolutely love using for my contour. I'll also just be quickly using the Hotline brush to fill my brows. So after your skin is fully prepped, clean and moisturized, and you definitely want to be moisturizing well before you put your makeup on. Don't do your moisturizer and then immediately put your makeup on right afterward. You want it to be fully absorbed before you start putting on your makeup. Right now, I am adding just a nice thin layer of the Stay Setting Spray. That's mascara's setting spray that we're actually going to put on at the end to set the makeup. But I also love using it as a primer for my makeup. Most people won't need any sort of primer that you would find with another product. This one is great. It just helps help the makeup stay on a little longer. And if you have any proneness to oiliness, it'll also help keep oiliness at bay. And I'll just swipe like a little bit on my lips and fix my brows with it, and my skin is prepped and ready to go. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and start with this main color here. My color is called Sandy, but I will be helping you find your color. And this first one is kind of like what traditional foundation would do. It's going to cover up any redness or any discoloration if you have sunspots or age spots or acne scars. And I'm using the smaller side of the B² brush, and I really am just doing a very light coat. I like applying this main highlight color with this fluffier side or fluffy side of the brush. I mean, there's one that's even fluffier, but this one here, it just helps make sure that you apply it in a very thin coat. You don't want to be caking on the makeup. It's not necessary, but you will still be able to get a full coverage look, and I'm going to show you that here in just a second. So this is just kind of what traditional foundation would do, is just a nice thin coat over your whole face. But as you can see, I definitely have a couple of spots that still need a little bit more coverage. Here are a couple of age spots that are not getting covered up. So there's an easy solution to that. I just take a touch of more of my product and then just add a little bit more product in that area. And if you have like a great deal of distance between the tone of your skin and that darkness on your face, like really red spots or super dark sunspots, you might need to grab a darker highlight in order to conceal that. So if you feel like you're adding a lot of product in order to get that coverage, just adding a darker highlight to conceal that is gonna just make it magical, and it will last so long for you. You won't need to refill that for a very, very long time. Okay, so now I feel like I have that full coverage look. I've been able to conceal those extra spots that just need a little bit more love, but then it still feels very light on my face. Okay, so this is what traditional foundation would do. I mean, it's evened everything out, taken away the redness, but it's still not doing me very many favors. It's not showing off my bone structure. It's not giving me that 3D look. I actually look very flat. So that's when we realize the real difference with mascara's foundation and how it takes it up to the next level when it comes to foundation. So I'm gonna go ahead and move on here to, I'm gonna skip that second color there for a second. We'll come back to it, but I'm gonna move on to my contour. So contouring is for creating shadows in your face. It's to bring out that bone structure. It's to give you that 3D look. And sometimes this is the most intimidating part for people, but I'm going to share with you only 4 places you have to remember to create contour. And the nice thing is the first 3 actually create a number 3. So let me show you that really quick. The first one is on top of your forehead, the second is underneath your cheekbones, and the third is underneath your jawline. And so it really does kind of create this number 3 along the side of your face. And that'll help you remember where to place it, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and start here on my forehead, and I definitely keep it, by the way, I've moved on to the Detail Hack brush, and I'm using the bigger side of the Detail Hack brush to just do my contour. It's my favorite for doing contouring, this particular brush, and you'll see why in just a second. So I will, you know, like I said, just stay really high next to that hairline, and then as I come down the sides of my face, I get a little more liberal, come touch the side of my brows, and again, we're connecting those 3 areas. Okay, next I'm going to just take the side of this brush and load it by dipping at an angle into my contour so that it really is mainly on one side of the brush. And I'm going to do my cheekbones now. Okay, so for the cheekbones, we all have lovely cheekbones right here. And so we're going to show off that beautiful bone structure. And the guideline that I use is from the the tippy top of my ear here to the corner of my mouth. That's kind of like the imaginary line that I'm going to be following. You could also just physically feel for your cheekbones and place it not underneath that cheekbone, but just right on the edge of the bottom of that cheekbone, which is pretty much that imaginary line that I mentioned before. I like to start towards the back of my cheek and then come forward because I like that back side to be the deepest and the widest. You know, again, imagine that number 3, and then it kind of tapers off towards the front. And you can play around with the placement of contour as far as like creating a nice sharp straight line or creating a little bit of a curve, as you can see that I did. I like having just a little bit of a curve to it, and just play with it. But I definitely would recommend keeping that contour nice and high. Sometimes people will use the like sucking in on the sides of your mouth to create that line. To me, that is way too low. It's going to shift the appearance of your cheekbones down, and I'm all about lifting my cheekbones and giving that extra help in that department. Okay, next is underneath the jawline. You can see I already have a little bit of a shadow there. We're just going to accentuate that, and I go underneath the jawline and I blend across, kind of connect up. Again, we're finishing off that number 3, and then the most important part is to blend down your neck, because you don't want to have a stripe there. You want it to, we really do want it to look like a shadow. And those shadows are going to appear as we take our time to blend and just really make it transition from one color to the next. Okay, so you can see already the difference. Like here I'm getting some dimension, and then here just very flat. Okay, so that's what the contour is going to do. It's going to also thin out your face a little bit, and just most importantly show off that beautiful bone structure that we have. Okay, again, top of the ear, corner of the mouth, start at the back and come taper towards the front. The nice thing is this video, now that you're a part of this class and group, this video will remain here as a resource for you, that when you get your makeup, you can come and just rewatch the video, and you can get ready with me with your makeup right by you, since this is in real time. Okay, and I like to come about as far forward, as the corner of my eye, not much further forward than that. I do want to see it when I'm looking forward, like I want to see that contouring, but I don't want to come anywhere near this mustache area, my mouth, or in my smile lines, like nowhere in that area. Like keep it wide, okay? finish up on the jawline here really quick. All right, so now the sides of our face have that contouring and we're developing that shape. Let's go to the center of our face, and that's nose contouring. This is the fourth place that we do not nose contouring. Right now, the way that this makeup is on just with that one color, my nose is very flat and one-dimensional. So I'm going to show you nose contouring to just bring out the shape of your nose. You could even slim down your nose a little bit if that's your desire. But for me, overall, it just is adding a bit of elegance to the shape of your nose. Okay, so I again load just the side of the brush, and that's why I love this Detail Hack brush so much for contouring, is because I can load it on the side. And I love it for nose contouring because, as you can tell, it is almost the full length of my nose, just the brush itself. So I come what I call the sides of the top, and so I can just place it there and then just slide down so that I can create a some dimension to my nose. Okay, you can see that I made a little bit of a mistake, and that is just fine. I'm actually glad that I did, so that I can show you just how easy it is to correct. Okay, so I'm gonna bring that, I came a little too far towards the center. Let's just come here. Okay, that's better. And you definitely wanna go straight down. You don't wanna, make it wide at the bottom. Okay, I still feel like I've moved a little to the side, but we're gonna adjust that as we blend. It'll be just fine. And definitely wanna come on the underside. And here's what I do. I blend towards the center of my nose, a little bit up and down. Okay, now you're starting to see that shape of my nose. And again, it's not about stripes, it's about shifting from one color to the next, from dark to light, and creating that dimension. Okay, so there's one more bonus area for the contour, so you can remember those four, but if you want to do the bonus one, it's right under here, under your lips, and that's just going to create added dimension to the center of your face and a little bit of a pout to your lips. I absolutely love adding that little bit of shadow there. Okay. All right, so you can see that there is some good dimension going on, but here's where I recommend that second brightener color, and it's really gonna take your 3D look to the next level, and it's gonna give you this brightening effect, an inner glow effect. I actually call it a light bulb color because it helps me know the placement and it helps me know its purpose. If I had a light bulb in the center of my face, behind my nose, making me glow, it would be very concentrated in the center here, and then it would fan out and shine, because again, it's this light bulb that's shining and creating this beautiful inner glow on the center of my face here. Okay, and then it would shine from in between my brows and fan out. And then I'll also take this with my finger, just because then I can get a skinnier application. And I'll come just down the center of my nose, and I'll just wipe off the rest off of my finger and brush on the bottom of my chin, just kind of balancing that out. I also like to come down my smile lines, and then I will just really softly blend that out. Again, I'm even creating the motion of that light shining outward, like concentrating from the center and then blending outward. And that's really gonna give you that beautiful inner glow look. It's gonna pop that nose contour. It's gonna add a little bit extra dimension to your face. Okay? It's so lovely. I will always recommend a second highlight color for that brightening effect. All right, so we have lots of beautiful dimension going on here. Now it's time to add just a really pretty flush of color with a lip and cheek color. All right, so I like to recommend two so that you have options. for different colors, and also you get to blend them together, and that's what I love doing with these two particular colors. This one is called Nude and that one is called Frenchie. So I actually will just use my finger for this. There are brushes if you'd like to apply your lip color with a brush, but I just take this first color called Nude, and you can see what a pretty color it is. Most people, when they're asking for recommendations, will ask for a nude color, and this is the most popular color sold by mascara. It's called Nude. Okay, and then I'll take a little bit of Frenchie, which is a more peachy color, and I'll bring it just concentrated in the center of my lips, kind of for an ombre effect. Okay, and now I've got like a little bit of that makeup still on my fingers from blending it, and instead of wiping it off somewhere and wasting it, I'm actually gonna use it for my cheeks. So I also like using my fingers for applying it here, because then I can just keep it in a really concentrated area. I just like the tiniest hint of color. Some people do like a larger area of blush. I really prefer just a small area. I definitely tried to preserve this triangle shape underneath my eye with that brightness of that light bulb color. So I'll just make sure that that blush color just stays nice and tight next to the contour. And then I'll actually blend them in with the blush side of this brush. Just kind of marry it with the contour as I blend them together. Okay, and I know some people are opposed to blush. I know I was one of them before using mascara. Not once in my life did I ever use blush, because I have red skin to begin with, and I just thought, why would I add red to my skin when I'm trying to take it away? But here's the thing. You want to add just a little touch of that blush, even if you do have red skin underneath, because that little flush of color is going to bring out the color in your eyes, whether that's brown or blue or green, and it's just going to bring some beautiful life to your face. And there are definitely some neutral tone colors that I can be recommending for you. So I have a color match form that you will fill out as I help you find your colors, and you can just indicate there the color of blush you would prefer. Okay, so now it comes time to just make sure everything comes together in this beautiful blended way, and that's where we pull out what we call the Perfector blending sponge. I've already gotten it wet. It's meant to be used damp, so I get it fully wet underneath some water, and then I squeeze it out, and then I squeeze it again with like a clean towel, washcloth, or napkin, and now it's just barely damp and ready to do its job. And so what I do is I just come in here and I'm just lightly tapping that makeup into my skin. And that's going to do two things. It's going to press it into my skin, but it's also going to be blending it out and creating like this seamless transition between the colors. And just, I mean, it's called the Perfector, and I love that because that's exactly what it does, is it perfects your makeup. Okay. And then if I feel like I need to come back and just add a little touch of coverage anywhere, sometimes I overblend and get a little too excited, and I can just come back and fix those areas. Okay, all right, the last little portion for my face is this one called the illuminator, and like I said, that's what the rest of the makeup world calls the highlighter. So I'm just going to put it on the high points of my face. I'm going to come right here on top of my cheekbone, and I'm just going to slide it on really quickly, and then I'll blend it out. And on top of my brow bone, if I do, I don't always do it on top of my brow bone, but if I do, I keep it nice and high in that curve of my arch. I have a little bit of a hooded eye, and so if I were to place that on the bottom part of my hood, it will really accentuate that, and I don't want that. So I keep it nice and high and in that arch of my brow there. And then my favorite part for it, this illuminator color, is to come down the center of my face. So watch this. I go on the curve of my nose right here. I take a little bit on the tip of my nose, and trust me, it sounds crazy, but trust me. And then on my Cupid's bow to really show off that shape that is on the edge of my lips here. And then I'll take a little on the center edge of the bottom there. And then I will just tap it out. And as you can see, as I blend that out, and I have them placed just right there down the center, it makes it look like there's this pretty light just shining right down on top of me. It is magical, and I love doing that. Okay, let me come back and just blend this out. You can either do it with the brush or the perfector or just even with your finger. Okay, but what that's gonna do is just catch the light more than anything. It's just gonna give you that extra glow, like that candlelit glow. All right, so that is everything on my face. I'm just gonna do a couple more things on my eyes to show you how you can have everything in one compact in one place and do a full face. So the last two spots on my compact, I have a color for my brows. So I'm gonna switch to the hotline brush. You wanna have an angled brush to do your brows here. So what I like to do, my approach when it comes to brows is just going for a manicured, very clean look. Your brows are kind of like the window frame to your, picture frame to your eyes. So you want it to be nice and clean, and I mean, people have their preference if they want a really bold brow, but definitely I like to have it nice and sharp so that it just looks very comely. All right, I'm gonna come, so you can see the difference. Like, I didn't make it overbearing. It's just nice and clean looking, and that's the look that I like to go for. And mascara has really wonderful colors. This is a color called Trust. For brows. There's another one called Oak that I will recommend if your brows are a little lighter than mine. And those two colors really cover a wide range of women. We've got a couple other colors if you're very fair or have a deeper skin tone and darker hair. But again, just really cleaning up the edge of that brow just to make it sharp. Okay, to also take care of my eyes and show you just the versatility of this product, because it's cream based, you can definitely use it in creative ways. So I'm actually gonna take this color Nude, and I'm gonna grab another brush. You can do this with your finger, but I'm just gonna keep it nice and clean and quick. And I'm taking this blush color called Nude, and I'm gonna put it on my eyes. I would love for you to try your blush color, whatever I recommend, on your eyes. Not every color is going to translate, but a lot of them do, and Nude definitely does. And Nude is so beautiful on brown eyes as well as blue eyes. But see how quick and easy that could be, and now I have just that really pretty soft color. And then I'll take this last eyeshadow color here, and I'm just gonna bring that right on the center of my eye for a little bit of shape and dimension. Also, it's gonna help just set that product on my eyes, because our eyes are always moving as we blink, and so it's nice to be able to set it just a little bit. All right, speaking of setting, let's just set the whole face with that Stay Setting Spray that I started with at the beginning. And I'm just gonna do a couple spritz, and I usually do like an X and then maybe a T. I usually say, how long do I really want this to last? If I need, if I know my day is gonna be really long, I'll add a little bit more, but here we go. Okay, you just wanna get a good coverage on your face, and it smells amazing. It smells like paradise. It's got like this coconutty smell. Okay, and we'll just let that dry and my makeup will be set. And I always tell my girls, if you like the makeup, you're gonna love it with the Stay Setting Spray because it lasts so much longer, okay? All right, so one other thing I want to bring back in here and show you. Oh my goodness, I just realized I forgot the Bella Bronzer. I probably would do that before setting it, but I'll show you, no worries. So what the Bella Bronzer does is just add a little kiss of sun. So here, I just take it on the like high points of where I would get a little bit of a sun kiss look if I was out in the sun. And that would definitely be on top of my forehead. It would be a touch right here on top of my cheekbones, okay? And you could even take just a touch across the tip of your nose And it's this amazing product that just adds that little kiss of sun without disturbing what's underneath. But let me show you my favorite part of the Bella bronzer, and that is warming up my neck. Sometimes I have a little bit of a disconnect between my neck and my face. If I were to color match my face to match my neck, I would look very washed out. So what I do is I take the Bella bronzer and I warm up my neck. Isn't that amazing? It's like the perfect color for just making you look like you got a little bit of sun there. And the B² brush, this one that I'm using, is essential for putting it on because you use the fluffiest side to apply it so that it evenly distributes it all over your face. If you use anything more like dense, it's going to be a little more splotchy and harder to blend. So I highly recommend this brush, sorry. Okay, so that just kind of pulls everything together. Okay, the very last thing I want to tell you about is the Vanilla Dust Setting Powder, because as you can tell, the makeup is meant to be dewy. It's meant to look youthful and fresh and glowy, but not everybody is a fan of that. And so if you would like to set it with some powder, we have the Vanilla Dust here. Setting powder here, and there's a couple ways you can apply it. You can either take that fluffy side of the brush and swirl it and add just like a touch to tone down all of that dewiness. Another way I really like to do is just take my damp perfector sponge and just rub into that powder, and it can't be too wet. You don't want your sponge to be too wet. And then when I set, I actually do set with a little bit of powder on a regular basis. I like to set only where I did that light bulb color, which is underneath my eyes and in my T-zone here. Usually if people are prone to oiliness, and that's another reason why you would want to set with some powder, is if you're prone to oiliness. And usually if people are prone to oiliness, it's just in the center, in their T-zone. Okay, and I like to set with powder just a little bit under the eyes to make sure we don't have any creasing going on there. All right, so to me that gives the perfect balance of just a little bit of matte. Not everywhere is dewy, but I still have a little bit of that youthful glow. Okay, so there it is. Everything is in one compact, one place. That is the beauty of this company, and what they've created is a fully customized compact that you only refill the colors that you need when you need it. Some high quality brushes that are double-ended, providing you extra value for your money, and they're just gonna last you really well. So I hope that that's been nice and helpful and informative. You guys, I've been doing this makeup for 3.5 years, and every time I put it on, I mean, even right now, I'm just amazed at how beautiful the finished look is. It just looks very natural and dewy and glowy, and I feel confident and I feel ready to face my day. That routine that I shared with you, though I've been, chatting the whole time and explaining everything, that routine will literally take me 5 to 7 minutes if I'm just putting it on for the day. So thank you for watching. Let me know if you have any questions. That's what I'm here for, is to help you, and I'm so excited for you to try this game-changing makeup.